Which horror movie are you most looking forward to in 2025?
You're scaring me.
The horror slate for 2025 is looking pretty decent, to be honest, when I was looking at a list of all the 2025 horror films. Now, the list that I've got here are just 10 horror films that I'm personally looking forward to in 2025. You might see some movies on this list that might not quite make it in 2025. As you know, a lot of films go through production hell, some delays, some of the release dates might change. As of now, as of recording this video, the release dates that I've got for these films are set, but it might change. There are even a couple of films on this list that might get delayed until 2026. But as of now, all of these films are set for 2025. First up, we've got Wolfman that's due for release on the 17th of January. This one already has trailers, this one's got production stills, etc. Of course, the movie's out very, very soon. This is the first one on the list that I'm looking forward to. As you know, I am a big fan of werewolf movies and I'm a big fan of the Wolfman himself. And this just looks like something that's up my street. I really, really enjoyed The Invisible Man from 2020, also directed by Lee Whannell, and it looks like he's given us another really good horror film in Wolfman. I'm also hoping that Wolfman is the beginning, although the first one would have been The Invisible Man. I'm hoping that Wolfman is the start of some sort of universal monster universe. Now, I'm not talking about having to rely on previous films like they do in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I'm hoping that they can give us some sort of loose connection between Wolfman and the Invisible Man. Next up, we've got Heart Eyes that's due for release on the 7th of February. Now, this one looks like a teen slasher comedy romantic film, similar to movies like Valentine's Day that was out in 2001. This one stars Jordana Brewster, Devon Sawa, Mason Gooding, and it's, like I said, a Valentine slasher movie. I do love myself a good slasher movie. It seems like slasher movies are coming back, especially in 2025, coming up, and 2026 as well. It feels like slasher films are on the rise again, so I'm really looking forward to Heart Eyes. On the 21st of February, we have The Monkey, which is directed by Osgood Perkins. Oz Perkins directed Longlegs in 2024, which was a very successful horror film, and it's one that has really good mood and atmosphere. The Monkey, strangely enough, it comes out in February, but there's not too much that we know about it. We had a teaser trailer quite early on in 2024, just after the release of Longlegs, and then we got another trailer for The Monkey, and it still doesn't give too much away, which I really like in trailers because I don't want to be force-fed things in these films. Oz Perkins is quite unique. He is quite quirky as well. So I think he's going to give us something quite unique, something that we weren't expecting for a movie that's called The Monkey. So I genuinely don't know what to expect. If we do get another trailer for The Monkey, I feel like I don't want to watch any other trailers for it because we already are going into this film kind of blind. Why watch another trailer? Until Dawn is the next one on the list, and this movie is out on the 25th of April. Now, I'll be honest, guys, I'll admit it, I've never ever played the game Until Dawn. I've heard good things about it. I have watched playthroughs on YouTube. I have seen clips of the game as well. So I know what the game is about. The game intrigues me. It doesn't intrigue me enough to want to play the game because I'm not a massive gamer, but the game does look cool. The story within the game looks cool as well, and I'm hoping that we get a good adaptation of this game. I hope they don't go down the route of Resident Evil though, because Resident Evil, the movies, were so far removed from the games that I just didn't recognize the game within the movies. I hope that doesn't happen with Until Dawn because, like I said, the game does look pretty cool. I might eventually play it because the movie's coming out, but because the game looks so cool, the story looks so scary, I'm hoping that we get that with the movie. On the 16th of May, we have Final Destination Bloodlines. This is the 6th movie in the Final Destination franchise and one that is the longest gap between Final Destination movies. So I'm really looking forward to seeing another Final Destination movie on the big screen again. Don't know what we're going to get with this one because they're changing it up slightly as well. There's going to be bloodlines involved, of course, so it goes back within the bloodlines of a family. What's going to happen in it? No idea. Because the movie is out in May as well, I'm assuming that in the next few weeks, possibly the next month or two, we will get our first trailer, possibly a teaser trailer, and then that'll come with a poster and some behind the scenes shots as well. So I don't really know too much about this one, but all I can tell you is I'm really looking forward to it. On the 20th of June, we have 28 Years Later. Now, I wasn't even looking forward to this one. I was looking forward to it in the sense that we're getting another 28 years or 28 days later film. But after seeing the trailer for the film, I just amped it right up. It's probably my most anticipated horror film of 2025. It just looks fantastic. The mood, the atmosphere, everything about the first two movies that we love, or at least I loved, looks like it's going to be here in 28 years later. Now that remains to be seen, of course, because modern day horror films can take a turn for the worst as well politically. Just real life politics gets brought into movies quite a lot. That can ruin a film. And if they do that with this film, it'll probably ruin it. But if they don't do that, if they don't rely on all the real life politics, social politics, etc., I think we could be in for a fantastic ride with this one. Next up, we have I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is coming out on the 18th of July, 2025. Now, I don't even know if this movie is going to be called I Know What You Did Last Summer, but might get a title change nearer the time. The film is almost finished filming, I believe. I know that Jennifer Love Hewitt came on late and she finished her filming just a couple of weeks ago. Freddie Prinze Jr.'s back again. He only done a few days shooting as well. I don't know if that means he's just not going to have a big role in the movie or he's going to die early on and have a small part. That remains to be seen. But there's not too much that we know about it. All we know is it's called, or it's based on I Know What You Did Last Summer. It is a legacy sequel to the first two movies. Contrary to what you were told initially, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer is still canon in this timeline. So the first two movies still count. The only one that doesn't count is I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. That just doesn't count at all. So it's the first two movies, and this will be the third one in this legacy trilogy. Next, on the 5th of September, we have The Conjuring Last Rites. Now, there are rumours that this is going to be about the Smurrow haunting that took place in the 70s and the 80s. The Smurrow haunting is the one that I always wanted them to do after I saw the first film, and they never ever done it. But now we're getting the Smurrow haunting. I do believe it's going to be the Smurrow haunting. They were filming some of the movie in the UK, and they were looking for actors and actresses that were roughly around about the same age as the kids in the Smurrow family when they were haunted as well. So I think the chances of it being the Smurrow haunting eventually is now. So if it's a Smurrow haunting, then this will be one of my most anticipated horror films of the year. But I know that the Conjuring franchise, even the Conjuring universe, is quite hit and miss with the movies like The Nun and The Nun 2. Even The Conjuring 3 wasn't that good. I'm hoping this is a return to form because this is supposedly the final Conjuring film. Next up is Saw 11, which is due on the 26th of September. 2025. Now, this is one of the films that might not even make the light of day in 2025. It was initially supposed to come out in 2024, but it got a full year delay or almost a full year delay. I don't know if that was due to money rights, actors, actresses, the director not being available at the time. I can't remember what the reasons were behind it, but it was delayed for a full year, and I know that the director was disheartened by that. Now, there were some rumours again recently that this film might be delayed again. Some people say that might have been cancelled, but I don't think it's getting cancelled. I think, if anything, it's going to be delayed until 2026. But as it stands at the moment, 2025 is the release year that it's supposed to come out, September as well. So looking forward to this one because I thought that Saw 10 was a return to form for the Saw franchise. I fell off on the Saw franchise, maybe part 6 or 7, I can't remember. The films were good. They were solid films for the first 4 or 5, but after that, they just decreased in quality to the point where I just wasn't interested at all. But with the return of Saw X, I thought that was a really good film, so I'm looking forward to part 11. Last on the list, we have Thanksgiving that's due out in November 2025. Now, this is one that's not set in stone because there's no specific release date. I hear that they will be filming in March 2025. If they do that, and if there's no delays, then rest assured, November 2025, it will definitely come out. If there's any delays in anything at all, we might get a year delay until November 2026. Because it is called Thanksgiving 2, we're assuming that it's going to be set in Thanksgiving and it will get released around the Thanksgiving period in the US. because there's no point in bringing out a Thanksgiving movie if it's not going to come out on Thanksgiving. Marketing-wise, it wouldn't make sense, and it wouldn't make as much money as the first one did. So if they've got all their ducks in order, then November, that movie will come out. Absolutely loved the first Thanksgiving movie. One of the surprises of 2023 for me. It was a fantastic slasher horror film. So hopefully if everything stays the same as it did in the first one, then I think the second one's going to be a good one. So that's the 10 movies that I'm looking forward to most in 2025. Just like every other year, there's some horror films that pop up out of nowhere that I didn't know was in production and end up being one of my favourite horror films of that year. So just because these 10 are my most anticipated doesn't mean these are the 10 that I will be looking forward to most when the year comes around, because films come and go. The films on this list might not make it. Like I said, in 2025, they might get delayed, they might get cancelled. But as it stands, those are my 10 most anticipated horror films of 2025. Do any of these films on that list tickle your fancy, guys? Or are there any other horror films that I haven't mentioned that are definitely coming out in 2025? Leave that list down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
Meeting adjourned.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played in the cat?
Someone's in the back!